I'm soaked. Oh.
Did you have to go back to a certain kind of weight, the way you want your body to be, having to go from center to guard and now back to center?
No. I mean, I look at it more as what weight can I be at to be the best athlete and football player I can be, and I kind of feel good where I'm at. They work with me in my weight range. I'm pretty similar to what I was last year. I think I was a little undersized guard, and so it's a little bit closer to what rate I should be for center.
Kind of like learn how to ride a bike and then going back to center. Just pick it up right away. Is that easy?
It's the NFL. Nothing's easy, but I feel a lot more comfortable being back there. But the nice thing about being at guard last year, I wasn't going up there and just worrying about my blocking assignment. I was still thinking like I was a center and what protections and what calls we were going to make, and still going through my normal routine just because it was so ingrained in me. That's kind of all I've done. So that aspect of it hasn't changed as much, and it's a little bit like riding a bike. Just we're blocking 300-pound dudes, 350, who knows.
What do you enjoy about center that you might not get at guard?
It's a lot of hands-on. It's a lot of communication. I just enjoy it because I love talking and getting everybody on the same page and communicating. Where at guard, it's a little less and it's a little more physical. You have a little bit more physical challenges throughout a game than you might have at center.
We were talking to Jalen yesterday, and he said at the line of scrimmage he kind of deferred to Jason a lot because of his status in the organization, how long he's been here. He wants to take a bigger approach. I know it's early in the process, but that collaboration between you and Jalen, do you know where that's going? Is that still a work in progress?
Yeah, I think we work on that every day, and it's fun, getting to meet with him and go through and see what he's seeing and what I'm seeing and how we want to mesh and who wants to control what and how we can do it together. This is it's a team, it's a process, and I don't think anybody's going to have full control of anything, and I think that's kind of how we want to run. Everybody's going to have a say, and so that's great. This offense it's fun to pick up and start to learn.
Has he evolved with that, though? Has he taken more of a role in that?
Yeah, it's like all of us. I'm learning so much this year, and obviously I can tell he's learning a lot too. And I think as we both grow and get a little more fluent in the offense, it's going to be a lot easier to communicate and talk between the two of us. And it's been good so far, and it's fun getting to see how defenses evolve every year, and even how ours is, and how we can talk and work through that in camp.
New position, new spotlight at that position. How did these last 2 years help you get established?
Just putting in work and getting to where I am today. That's all it is. Working, sitting behind guys and learning and playing alongside people and just listening to the vets. I'm blessed to be in the Eagles organization where I come into a room and I got Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, and Landon Dickerson, Isaac Samala. It's crazy all the vets that I had when I came in here and how much I was able to learn. So it's easy to get to the point where I am to learn all this as long as somebody's coming in and putting in the work. Yeah, one over there.
Kelsey's been around the facility a lot in the offseason, has a locker in the coach's room. How much is he still in your ear, or are you looking at this like you got to kind of forge your own way now?
I think he's always there if I need to call upon and ask him some questions. So I know I can rely on that if I get stuck and need some help or something like that.
When you were a guard, were you kind of going through what calls you would make, and were you kind of comparing it to what Jason called last year?
Just making sure we're all on the same page. If I thought it was something and he may have thought something different, then we can talk through and see which one we wanted to do. I don't think it was too much comparing, but just making sure that we're in the right call.
How different is this call now?
How are we going to handle the blitz calls? I think that's all of us. it's different because it's a process. If a tackle's job is to look at a certain spot and see if a safety's rolling down or somebody's covered, and a guard spot may be to look at a different position, and center's supposed to look at a little bit of everything. Everybody's feeding each other information, and same thing with the quarterback. All our calls are feeding each other. It's nothing's going to be all on one person's plate, and that's kind of how it's always been. It's how it's.
Kelsey didn't take a little more of the responsibilities there.
He did. He just saw a lot of it, and it probably took some off of the other people's responsibilities. But yeah, it's full. Everybody's looking, and they have their own responsibilities, especially when it comes to the blitz game.
You weren't a center to follow on that, because so it was more like you saw it. Kelsey just saw it first before someone else said that. Or?
I think everybody saw it. So it's still very similar to what it's been, and everybody's got their own responsibility and job, like it has been. So it was never all on one person's plate, and it's not going to be like that anymore, and it never was.
You weren't at center last year, but you guys had trouble late in the year picking up blitzes. When you go back and look at that as you try to correct it for this year, what do you think was happening in terms of you were so good at early that it kind of fell off later in the year?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just making sure we're in the right play and figuring out, hey, if we're not in the right play and if we're not in the right protection, can it still work? And making sure we have the right hots and things go along with it. And I think we got in too much trouble last year making sure everything's perfect. And when you try to make everything perfect, it's not always going to be perfect. And so if you can make sure that you have answers to a lot of things, whether you're in a perfect call or if you're in a not perfect call, it helps a lot of the things out.
When you think back to your rookie season, you got a lot of those snaps when Jason was injured. How much did that help you in hindsight?
Yeah, I mean, I played center in college, and I played center right when I got here, and now I'm back at center. And so that helps just be able to feel a little bit of the game out and getting to play those preseason games and get along with the team. Jalen was a quarterback back then when I was playing center all throughout camp, and now I get to go through another camp with him. And so that communication just kind of picks back up and evolves throughout camp, and so I think that helps a ton. So thanks, guys.
Well, brothers.
Lane said that you and Cam kind of initiated the gassers after practice. What made you do that? Is that something you still continue to do?
Just trying to maintain the standard. Everybody thinks it's a joke, but it's something that we live by. It's unacceptable that we had 3 false starts yesterday, and that was including myself on the very first play of practice. So, there needs to be discipline to, again, uphold the standard, and that's where it came from. We didn't like how we were letting the stuff that we can control dictate the practice, and we thought it was necessary to discipline ourselves.
Do you feel more comfortable doing that now, taking that lead without Jason here?
Yeah, I feel very comfortable doing that. I think, anytime we do something like that, it's just from everything that I learned from Jason, maintaining the standard. When something's not good enough, we got to correct it. And today we had no pre-snap penalties, which is great. So, again, it's always about maintaining the standard, and the standard was there before we even came here. So
you already have to think about asserting yourself more.
Nah, it's natural. It's natural. I've been given examples. I've had the best examples in the room. I know what it should look like, and when we fall short, just need something to pick ourselves back up again and keep the main thing the main thing.
What did you see in response from the other guys immediately whenever you said you needed to run?
They didn't want to do it, but I think as a core unit, if one messes up, we all mess up, because we have to have that same mentality of holding each other accountable. And it's just simple stuff at the line, communication, echoing the cadence, making sure you're echoing the calls. That's the stuff we can't control. And some of the guys may not like it, but it's too damn bad. Again, we're trying to build a winning culture here, and honestly, that's the way you got to get it done.
Did you feel like some of that was lost at the end of last year?
Did I feel like some of what was lost? The winning culture?
Yeah, and just doing things the right way. And I mean, did you think that contributed at all to what happened?
I mean, to be honest, I don't think it did. I think last year just fell the way it did. It was about controlling the things we can't control, and we didn't do any of that. We didn't make enough adjustments, and that was last year. I certainly don't want to feel like we did last year towards the end. Coming home first week of the playoffs, that's feeling, and we don't want to do that again. And these are the steps that we're willing to make sure that the things that we didn't control last year that we could control, we get on top of that.
Pre-snap penalties aside, the offense looks like it's been pretty crisp these last 2 days. Or am I just seeing things, or what?
I think you're seeing things. Nah, it's crisp. It's crispy. It's crispy this year.
You have the new coordinator, and there's more motion and more different things going on.
I wouldn't say it's not surprising, just because the OTAs, we were here in OTAs. Almost all of us were here in OTAs, and just seeing the playbook that we had there, we knew it was going to be a pretty exciting offense. And Kellen adds such a flair to his playbook, if I should say, if that's the correct words, but not surprising at all.
There was at the end of practice. There's a lot of rushing on and off between the teams on play. Can you describe what is the objective there?
One, that's a Nick Sirianni question. Two, I'll answer it anyway. It's just conditioning. Trying to get the conditioning on. We're going to have, like for instance, it's the starters. The offense ones will go on for 3 plays, and we get fresh skies every play that we have. So just to, again, condition the offense, and then we switch it around. The defensive ones go, and now the offense 1s, 2s, and 3s are cycling in through, so they get a set of fresh bodies, and the defensive ones have to condition against fresh bodies. So that's the...
There's something, busted play or something on the last play for the first team offense. Was that a result of the conditioning? Or?
You're talking about when we down there on the sideline?
No, the actual play.
That wasn't conditioning. That was just a breakdown in communication.
What's the most impressive thing to you, Saquon Barkley, physically or running behind you?
I think his mentality, the way he approaches everything in the building. As soon as we got him, he's just been so, I guess, I shouldn't say vulnerable, but just willing to do whatever it takes. Whatever the game plan is, he's always had that mindset since he's set foot in the building. I feel like I've known the bloke for a long time. So him just being able to, we know we can rush the ball, but whatever they're willing to put him in and whatever role he's playing, if it's catching the ball, if it's running the ball, he just says, yes, sir. I love that about him.
It's very early, obviously no pads yet, Jordan, but can you get a feel when he's on your side what Bryce Huff to be as a pass rusher?
You can't. Honestly, we're in our t-shirts and underwear right now. Like, it's a different speed when the pads come on, But I think right now, Bryce has got a lot of potential to be one of the greats. He's got a great get-off, and he's got an arsenal of tools that he can use at any given time, and that you have to be able to recognize what he's going to get to and make sure you don't shoot your hands too early, because he will swipe.
Earlier you mentioned the protections. Cam was talking about how that's shared across the offensive line. How do you said that's also common and part of what you guys used to do as well. How would you describe what that role is like as an offensive line, your role in that?
In calling protections?
Yeah,
it's pretty much the same as what we've done here in the past, Eagle football. But I think this time I'm not going to give away too much about, the game plan, because Jalen does make a lot of calls at the line that he knows he wants to be hot off. So we just adjust. And it's kind of nice because then we don't have to, again, see where the safeties are at, where the linebackers are at, because that's our responsibility. If you're going to play here at the Eagles offensive line, you got to know all that stuff. And it is a breath of fresh air when Jalen can take control of what he wants. So it's been fun.
How was the slip and slide, and what was the backstory behind it?
Oh, what did Landon say?
He has the lacerated toe. We haven't spoken about it.
Did he lacerate the?
Far out. Slip and slide was fun. We threw that back to camp party just to see everyone, and again, all about creating memories and connecting with your teammates. Two, I'm not going to comment on Landon's injuries. I mean, you guys will get your time. You guys can ask him that and how he did it. So, you had a question over there? No, he had a question before.
I did if we had one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
How tired are you guys talking about last year? Does it come up inside or just when you're out?
I'm about goddamn tired of talking about last year. I'm tired, I'll be honest. I'm only looking forward. We can only learn so much from last year, and we learned a lot. And the direction that we're going now is forward. And we got to do that this year. I mean, talk is cheap, but I've got a really good feeling about our offense this year and our defense. And, if everyone can please stop talking about last year, that'd be nice.
Thanks, Jordan.
Afternoon.
Very excited to see position battle linebacker playoff. What do you view on that? How did you approach it?
Just go out there and have fun and just do what I do. Make plays, lead, fly around. Always, show consistency every day. Be around the ball and just at the end of the day, just have fun with it, man. I've been playing linebacker for a minute now. Been doing a great job at it. So, just treat it like not a walk in the park because it's really serious, but, like a kid in a candy store.
What separates you?
I just think my ability to lead, my playmaking ability, and also just, being able to play at a high level. You want to be a championship team, you got to have a championship defense, and I've been part of those, and I know what it look like, I know what it feel like, I know how to get to it, and I know how to be a leader within it, So just having the repetition at it, I think one thing is people say experience is a great teacher, and I had a lot of experience in playing football.
Of you guys out there, how long does it take you to feel comfortable playing next to the guy you're playing next to?
I think it really doesn't matter, long as I know my job, and try to learn their job as well. So if they, a little behind, or if I want to kind of speed the process up for them, I can help them and say, hey, watch the 3 over if I know they the weak side hook or whatever. So I'm learning both positions just to be able to do my job and help with their job if needed, or just a little tip goes a long way. So I think it's easy playing with everybody because everybody, is holding themselves accountable to know what they got to do and go out there and be productive.
Bobby King had mentioned that it's important for linebackers to be interchangeable in this defense. Yeah, do you agree with that? Do you see that as that important?
I definitely agree. You never know what might happen in a game, and each position, kind of does a little different, and if somebody go down and you need somebody to step up, can another person slide over or vice versa, so that's how we've been learning the defense, just everybody know every position and, don't just stick to one, get repetition at both.
With this offense that you're facing, it's almost like you've got 3 levels that can stress the defense out and they've got the motion. I mean, how difficult is it to defend this?
It's very difficult. That's a good thing that we get work against it. So when we play other teams that's not as difficult, we'll be a little prepared. And for them, man, I think, us doing good things too, obviously help them, giving Jalen different looks. And we got great players on this side of the ball as well. We ain't going to give them all the glory. But I think it's really good. It just brings the competitiveness out of you and the competition level. And I think we all just out there competing because, like I say, nothing is given to nobody. Every day we coming in here with the attitude of earning it, and I think that's what make practice fun. That's what make it go by fast and smooth. And, you look forward to coming back the next day because if you messed up something, you want to get better at it, just not to make that same mistake twice and put it on film that you can do it right.
In the spring, you said you wanted to show Vic blitz. How's that going? Are you mixing it?
Yeah. I mean, he put in some blitzes for the linebackers when my number called. Man, just working my fundamentals and just trying to win, just winning my one-on-ones or, being shot out of a cannon. Right now there's no pads on, so it's only certain moves that you can work, but still just trying to show the ability and just get more explosive every time I blitz with my timing, just learning Jalen snap cadence. You know, everybody different, but after a while, you tend to pick up on it, and you can kind of get a step on the O lineman, or get to the running back faster and get ready to work your moves. So he prides himself on it, and just going back looking at his past defenses is something that he always do, especially if he got a good one.
You're on the other side. The last game last year with Tampa Bay on the winning side. What did you see from the Eagles at that point? And have you talked to any teammates and said, hey, what happened to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of things going wrong at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? For them. And, for us, me being on another team, a lot of things going wrong at the right time, I don't feel like we got the same version that we got in week 3. I feel like I don't know what was going on. I really don't care. I don't want to linger on the past. I just want to be a better football team this year and contribute whatever way I can. And, that's what a lot of, talking me, Jalen, and AJ, we got a group message, and I named it accountability. Just how can we pull one another up, and what do you need from me, and obviously vice versa with them, just so this can be a better team and those things don't happen. Because at the end of the day, it's a long season, but, I mean, the one thing we've been talking about is one day at a time. How can we be better and just make sure we pushing everybody and bringing somebody along, not just, getting on to them, but just bring somebody with you. If you're a great player, show them how to be a great player, and we have more great players on the team.
Threw a lot at you to see what stuck. What sticks out to you as he's continuing to teach that defense now?
Oh, man, just the multiple coverages. We could be playing one call that got 2 different coverages, and just seeing what he like and what we play good. Obviously he not stopping. He's still putting things in, and the more we can learn, the more we can do, the better defense that we can be. Because we can be we don't have to be one-dimensional. And he spoke about that yesterday. Just being smart. All the components of being a good defense, and I'm glad that we got a group of guys that's willing to learn and that's learning it fast on the fly, and just like I said, priding ourselves on not making the same mistake twice.
Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Who's in it?
Me, AJ, and Jalen. I started it on the way back to back here to get ready for training camp. I just sent them a empty glass, a picture of an empty glass, and and before they could text back, I just said, hey, let's pour into it every day. One day at a time, just pour into it, and that's kind of how we started. And then everybody chimed in and gave some food of knowledge, and we just went from there.
Was any weight from spring? Or my eyes deceiving me? Did you lose some weight from the spring?
Yeah, I probably lost a couple pounds. Just mostly in the 240s, but getting down back to the 230s, and so I could fly.
Comfortable, what weight do you want to get to?
I think just being around 238, maybe 239 is probably my best weight to be able to run around in.
Looking forward to having a fresh start here. I guess now that you're 2 days into training camp, how are you feeling mentally about the opportunity in front of you?
Mentally, I'm just grateful. I'm just thankful to be out here and play the game that I love. I just didn't want to make nothing about me. The start is here. The start is over. I started when I came to OTAs, and now I just want to be a great team player, a guy that they can lean on and help them win football games, in whatever way that is. And just showing up every day and being consistent and doing my part, because I know doing my part is enough. I mean, it's a lot of great guys, and it's a lot of people that's going, if they do their part and I do my part, we're going to be a great football team.
Vic is known not to mince words. Big Fangio. How does he handle corrections?
Say it again?
Vic is known not to mince words. He's pretty direct.
Yeah.
So how does he handle corrections?
He just call you out. Call you out one-on-one, call you out in front of the team, tell you that this not good enough, or, this piss poor, this, say it again? Oh, he call you out by your name. He name, number, whatever the first thing come to his mind when we watching the film. We watch film together after practice in the evening, and he'll let you know, like, yesterday it was me on the downhill run. Jalen Carter got one on a block where he didn't do the right thing, but he also praises people too when they doing the technique the right way. He just not just a drag you through the mud type of coach. He pull you up when you're doing something good, because the next person can learn from the good that another person doing. JD had a good practice yesterday. He was bending his legs, and that was one thing Coach Vic, he kept saying, like, when your legs are bent and you in this type of stance, you gonna have a good down. And he was showing that throughout the film. So it's not just all about bad, but he will correct you in front of everybody. And you don't want that. That's not a good feeling, but you'll take it, you accept it, and you get better from it.
group text. What made you choose Jalen and AJ there?
Just man, me and those guys been close for a long time. You know, even before I was here, we was always talking, always, you know, cool friends. You know, we all came out together. We all end up all going to this SEC, but different schools. But at one point, we was trying to go to the same school. The Under Armour game, the Nike Open, we just been kicking it for a long time. So it wasn't nothing. You know, not singling them out, but those have been my guys already. And not saying that I don't have new guys, but those have been some of the ones that I'm personally close to in the off season. You know, both of those guys called me even when I wasn't on the Eagles, and now that I am, and checking up on the fam and everything. So it's just a little more personal there with them.
I know you had a relationship with Nakobe too, I think.
Yeah. I recruited him to come to LSU, and he went to Georgia.
Look, now compared maybe to spring, he didn't do a lot in spring.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him so far?
Just me knowing the injury that he had, that's not something that you take lightly, but I feel like his perseverance, you know, the way he worked to come back from it, you know, he was out in Vegas training out there and just really just getting himself ready. You know, I was just walked in with him a while ago and asked him how he felt, because I told him he looked great, you know, but you just got to keep putting the days together. And he said, man, the more I get out there, the more comfortable I'm getting, and I'm able to fly around and just basically have fun, man. He said he liked the defense. You know, he said year one is way different from this year, you know, as far as scheme and stuff, so he's happy about that. So, I mean, I feel like he's doing good.
How much do you know about Zach Bond before?
I knew he played for Coach Dave Aranda, and I knew he was on the Saints, and I knew he was a great player for the Saints. The playoff game, when COVID year, we had a lot of people out, so I ended up playing on the punt team, and he was on the punt return team for the Saints. So we was going against each other, and I was, you know, I think that was our first interaction. And after then, we knew of each other, but now we done got real closer since we've been together since OTAs.
Inside, there was talk about whether he was out.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like he's very versatile. You know, I seen some highlights of him rushing off the edge and playing in the middle, and I think that's a good trait to have. You know, just being able to walk up and be a pass rusher or get back and, you know, just be an off-ball linebacker. So no, I'm not surprised.
All right, thank you, Devin.
Appreciate you.
What do you feel since that about that with yourself?
I'm just coming out here and doing what I got to do to get better every day. Using my hands, being physical in the run, taking good steps, and having my eyes where they need to be.
Before the pads go on, like how do you go about showing that you can stop the run? Is it a little difficult?
I mean, just doing everything I can with the pads off, just taking my steps, being violent with my hands, good eyes, and just being on key.
Does it tick you off that you have that reputation as a guy who can't stop the run?
He said, does it
tick you off?
I mean, not necessarily. I don't really know where that reputation came from. If you watch my film, I've been physical in the run since I've been in the NFL. I was starting year 2. I played a lot of run. I got good film. Year 3, whenever I was on the field, I got good film. And then last year, I put on good film in the run as well. So I'm not really sure where that reputation came from. I guess it's just because of my size that people would kind of assume that. But if you watch the film, I feel like I've done well in the run.
What's unique to Vic about coaching this position?
I mean, he puts us in a position to produce as edge players, and he just puts us in a position to do our jobs, and he's a good coach.
You get a sense that you're going to be asked to do a lot more versus what you did with the Jets. Have you gotten that sense as far as being, whether it's a flat defender or run support defender?
Yes, sir, definitely. Just because, they got me out there, pass downs, dropping in coverage, or and run down, stopping the run, as well as rushing. So that's a lot more than what I was doing in New York, since I was essentially just a third down player or obvious passing downs until last year.
Do you think the reputation maybe came just because of the depth of the Jets? That was more than that than anything?
I feel like that's definitely where it came from. Just the reputation. Well, not the reputation definitely came from that just because we had so much depth, and I was only playing third down, so people probably just assumed that I wasn't good versus the run because of that. But besides that, I feel like my film speaks more to my ability to stop the run than assumptions.
But how does a coach demonstrate that you have confidence in your play calling? Some big, Nick has talked about your strength. What do you sense of that, and what does it take? You have confidence in the defensive coach's play call. How do you see that?
How do I see
his gain confidence
in his play calling?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I just trust the plays. Whatever he calls, I'm gonna go out there and do it to the best effort and the best of my ability.
Bryce, to go from 450 snaps, which I think is the most you played, to 800 plus, which is kind of what Reddick played in the past. That's a big jump. What do you do to prepare yourself for that type of workload in a season?
Just coming out here and giving full effort every play, and when we have conditioning, I just go all out. When we have reps where they tell us run through the end zone, I'm gonna run through the end zone and just give my best effort so that on game day I'll have a great win in conditioning to get the job done.
Does your off-season training change at all with that in mind?
Not necessarily. I've always trained to play that amount of snaps, and I've always trained to play a full role in case somebody were to go down with an injury. So I've always had that mindset.
Josh Sweat out on the field now for the first time. What have been your early impressions of him, and what are your aspirations as kind of a pass rusher?
Yeah, Josh is a great player, and he's put a lot of good stuff on film throughout the years. He's a really hard worker. Just being able to come out here and get work in with him before practice and even during practice, during the special teams periods. So I'm really excited to get out there and get active with them.
We've heard that Nick is kind of popping into some of the other position groups. Has he popped into an edge meeting yet, and what's it like when he does?
He pops in and just watches film with us, and we're going over everything, and it's cool.
How beneficial is it to be able to go against this offensive line every day? Are there some specific things that you're learning from some of the guys?
It's extremely beneficial just because they're two of the best in the league, and they've performed at a high level for a very long time. So just going out there and figuring out ways to get better against them with how good their technique is, I feel like it's going to be extremely helpful going against guys that might not be as at that level. So I feel like that's a great workload to have in practice.
Does Nick spend individual time with you coaching?
Not as of yet, but.
When he does pop in, is it in a passive role where he's observing, or is it kind of dialogue?
I guess it's just like he's just observing what's going on and being aware of what we got going on in our room.
Hey, Bryce, what are you noticing about playing next to Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter? What are you seeing from those guys, and maybe how do they compare to the guys you played with the Jets?
Everybody that I've played with have been extremely hard workers, and they're very disruptive players, same as the guys in New York, and Quentin and JFM or Mike Clemens or whoever, Solly, whoever was inside. Like, everybody that I've been with has been hard workers, so they're just as hard of workers, and they're just as motivated as the guys that were in New York.
Anything stand out about those guys, about Jalen and Jordan?
Yeah, they're extremely disruptive, and they're naturally talented, and they're just explosive players all around.
Nick said that right now he doesn't think you are ready to be the three-down guy, but not that you can't be, that he just doesn't think you're there yet. He said maybe 2 weeks, I don't know, but when you hear that, does that make you say, I'll prove to him otherwise?
Not necessarily. I've always had the mindset that I've been a good run stopper, and I just plan to come out here and put my best effort on the field every day and put that on film.
Bryce, what's been your early impressions of Nolan Smith and Jalen Sugg?
And you said Jalen?
Yeah, Jalen.
Oh yeah, they're two great young players. They come out here ready to work every day. They're extremely locked in on their assignments, and they're eager to come out here and get better, same as me. So it's fun to come out here with guys that are just as motivated and just as in touch with the game as I am. So it's cool.
Blocking techniques, a lot of it is not two gapping. It's like 1.5 gapping. It's a little different than two gapping technique. I don't know if that's something that you've done before, but how have you adapted that? Is that new? Is that something new for you?
For us, our mindset is come off and hit and be physical in the run game, use our hands and be violent. So that's just like the main things that I keep in mind when playing in this front.
Thanks, Bryce. Coming with the offense. I know we're only 2 days in. It's early, but what's your sense?
Yeah, I think the offense is really clicking right now. We spent a lot of time learning it, dissecting it, figuring it out during OTAs earlier, and then coming back, just the way we've been moving, the way things been installing, just rolling in practice. I feel like, everybody took that step, just kind of absorbed it in OTAs, and right now it seems like we're firing on all cylinders. Obviously, we got more to install and things like that, but right now I think the whole offense would be pleased where we're at.
But what have you seen from the new look defense you guys are going against?
Yeah, my biggest thing is the movement up front, the different fronts they play. It kind of reminds me of the defense we had a few years ago. But I think they're going to be really good. It's always fun to watch the two big men in the middle, JD and Jalen Carter. They're special. So I'm excited to watch those two grow their career and just help everybody else out by stopping the run and getting pressure.
Nick has spoken very highly about Grant, sort of unprompted. What have you seen from him in his development over the years? Seems to be taking a lot of 12 personnel reps with you. How much have you seen him just step up?
Yeah, in my opinion, Grant's first year, he had a hamstring early in camp, and, it kind of set him back that first year. But the last 2 years, I feel like you just see him grow every day. He asked me a lot of questions, what I see, why I do that. And you see him just putting his own little flair in the game. He does a good job of finding a way to get open on the top of routes. And, he's one of the people that just knows what he's supposed to do, knows where he's supposed to be, when he's supposed to be there. And when you do that, you just gain a lot of trust from the quarterback and the coaches. So it's been really fun seeing him grow over the last 3 years, and hopefully we can be on the field a lot together.
Is this offense a lot different for you and your responsibilities?
Yeah, there's definitely different things. Some of the verbiage has changed, things like that. But when it comes to football and being a tight end, you kind of do the same thing. The routes are the same. It just might be in a different scheme a little bit. The quarterback reads when he gets to you might be different. And, I think that's cool how we've been dissecting it. You know where the quarterback's reads are. If you're not the first read, you're not the second read, you're the third read. You got a little bit more time at the top of your route, at the stem of your route to buy time. And it doesn't matter if you're open too early. If the quarterback's not looking, he's not ready. So just trying to make sure we're on the same page, getting open when the quarterback gets his eyes to you is something that I've been really trying to focus on during OTAs and up until now.
Clarify that. What does that mean?
Yeah, so, he might start to the left and you're on the right running a deep route. And you could say you have a basic, which is 10 to 12 yards. If you're on the front side, you might have to run it a little bit faster because his eyes are there right away. But if you're on the back side, he's looking here, and then he comes back to you. So you can spend a little bit more time at the top because if you get open and then the defense closes and then he gets his eyes on you, you're not open. So it's trying to make sure you're open when the quarterback is ready to throw it to you.
What kind of element do you think the motion, increasing that motion, would bring to the offense and maybe attacking on all levels of the defense?
Yeah, we've been definitely motioning a lot more. I think it's been really big for us so far, getting the linebackers to swap sides, getting the safeties to run, all the tells it gives you when you're motioning, and then it makes it harder for the defense to stay gap sound in the run game. So I think the motion is going to really help us, and hopefully it brings a lot of big plays for us.
What's it like to practice against CJ every day?
Man, CJ, he's definitely a special dude. My biggest thing for him is he's the same person every day. He's over the top with excitement. He loves being out here playing. He loves talking trash. But at the same time, you respect him. He respects you. It's nothing disrespectful, and it's really fun just going out. He brings the energy. So, if you have a bad play, he's going to let you know about it. If you have a good play, he's going to give you a high five, and that's how it should be. He's going to hold everybody accountable, but that's the same thing. He holds himself to a really high standard as well.
Pictures with you and some of the younger guys that have worked out with Jalen Hurts, maybe in Houston. How beneficial was that, especially for the younger guys and for you, kind of getting in sync with the offense and Jalen?
Yeah, it's always good. The more time you can spend with the quarterback, the more trust you can have with him, the more opportunities you're going to have getting the ball. And it was cool going with the younger guys. And John Ross was there too. And, just being able to have Jalen ask for a route, and then me be able to, with the years that I've had with Nick and how we want the routes run, things like that, I can help these young guys so they can hit the ground running a little bit faster. But I feel like we had 3 great days of work down there, and it's only going to propel us forward.
Like a lot. 2 more for Dallas. Kellen uses multiple tight ends like a lot of coaches. How would you say as a group it functions in his offense?
Yeah, there's just so many different things you can do with 2 tight ends. I think the biggest thing I've noticed with Kellen is how much things marry, whether it's the run game into the pass game, motions, could be a run or a pass, and it just keeps the defense honest. They're not seeing the same thing over and over where they can, have a really good feel of what we're going to do and kind of rely on that. So the more we can be in different tight ends, put me and Grant in different spots, just gives different looks to the defense, which, like I said, keeps them honest.
Do you wonder what next numbers could be if you finally had that healthy season?
Yeah, obviously I want to, obviously every person that has a chance to catch the ball wants to have 100 catches, 1,000+ yards. But for me, I want to do whatever I can to help the team win. If I can run a runoff route to get somebody else open, I'm good with that. As long as we're winning, I'm always happy.
All right, thanks, guys.
How y'all doing on this beautiful summer day? It is, right? Let's get started, man. How you doing?
Jordan, we talked a lot about conditioning, and Vic has said you're going to play a lot. So you've had a couple of humid days. You're used to that, obviously, but where you grew up and where you played before. But how do you feel physically?
Physically, I mean, it's coming along. It's always a work in progress. We try to stay on the D line. We try to stay on the defense that, we got to be the best condition. The more we can play, and that's all across the board, not just for me, but the more we can play, the more we're on the field, is the better for our chances of success. And we just want to make sure that we can maximize our success because we feel in our hearts that we got to have the best chance. We got to be the most elite defense, and that's just the mindset that we carry.
After OTAs, you said your goal is to be in the best shape of your life. I guess, how do you feel like you did in that pursuit of that goal?
Great. I mean, obviously, I'm not where, I'm better than what I came in or where I left. And, that was my goal coming in. Football shape is a lot different, obviously. You can do all the running you want to, but when you're going against our O-line, it's kind of tough. But, it's coming along, and that's the thing that we're trying to just do as a defense. I don't know if y'all seen, but how we finished in the end zone after the last series. And, that's just little stuff that adds up. You just put a little sweat in the bucket, and eventually the bucket's going to get full. So the more we can do, the more condition we could be is just straight running. And then, we try to condition during practice so that we have to do just straight line running after. But, just football shape. Everything we do, we try to get in football shape. And, we're not going to be track sprinters, but, if we can be out there and we can condition while they're during the play and condition while, we're just getting our work in, then it should work out fine.
Coach, what kind of difference are you seeing, like both with you and Jalen Carter, like so far through the first 2 days of training camp? Just in
technique, and just the understanding of how we're playing, how the scheme is going to work out. We're just really excited. Just all across the board for the D line, like Milton, all those guys, man. We're just excited to play in this scheme, moving a lot more. We have a lot more opportunities to make plays, and that's not to knock any credit of the past coordinators, but it's just it's just a fresh breath of fresh air for the defensive line, and it just kind of feels familiar for us, us speaking in me and Jalen, because that's the type of scheme that we played at Georgia, and it just feels very familiar, and we like it, and we're just trying to do the best we can to maximize our opportunities inside the defense, inside the scheme.
Maybe technical conditioning, maybe technical, but whenever you're the improvement in conditioning, how does that affect your consistent bend from play to play?
Yeah, I mean, when you're not tired, you can bend a little bit more. When you get tired, that's when you start to slack off in your technique and stuff like that. Your technique gets a little worse, and we just want to make sure that we're conditioning enough so that we can play the same way. You look at any sport, golfers, baseball pitchers. We had an analogy of baseball pitchers, how when they throwing up their changeup or they throwing up their sliders, they have the same. If he hitch before he threw a curveball, it's going to look different. And it's going to get the opportunity for the offense to, do things and read how we play. But the more conditioned we can be, the more, effective we can be as a defensive line.
What was your summer like with that? What was your summer like? Did you kind of settle into a typical workout program?
Yeah, it was a typical routine. I went back to Georgia, I had the same thing I did in my pre-draft. But, it's just conditioning, D-line work, Tuesdays, Thursdays, conditioning pretty much Monday through Friday, lift. But it was also making sure that, you take time to stretch, take time to get in the tub, not do things, and eating right. I mean, that's the biggest thing for me is just eating right. But at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that I came in better than I left OTAs. And then, once we get here and we go in and we get in the flow of things, it's going to take care of itself with this running that we're doing.
Do you think that he wants to put more on your plate this year, more reps?
Yeah. And that's not even just for me. That's just as a defense. I think if Vic had his way, we'd be out there for 10 plus plays. But, I think Sirianni has something to say about that, just limited us to 6 or 7 and stuff like that. But, I think he knows what type of group that he has. He has the utmost confidence in us. And he wants us to be out there and make plays. I mean, at the end of the day, that's all a defensive coordinator really wants us to do is just be the best defense on the field. It's going to come in effect when the season starts rolling around, especially in the end of the season. We don't want to start out hot like we did and then drop off towards the end of the season. We want to make sure that we have the ability to sustain all through the season and into the postseason.
What is Sirianni's presence since he's taken a step back from the offense? What is Sirianni's presence?
I mean, he's still around. It's not like, he's an offensive-minded coach, but he's still around defense. You can see him during Andy standing around, making sure that we getting our work in, and just even when we go in our meetings, he's in our meetings,
He's in a defensive meeting sometimes, walking in, just checking on us. I mean, obviously his mind is more geared to offense, so he's going to be in the offensive meeting more. But he definitely has an interest in defense, and he knows that defense helps win games.
I know you haven't been in pads yet, but what are your impressions of Becton going against Becton, being both in OTAs and these first 2 days?
I mean, we all know that Becton's a great player. I had the utmost respect for him because he's helping me get better. He's been in the league a long time, helping me with his experience, and he's a strong guy. I go against him. I'm a strong guy. He's a strong guy. Landon's a strong guy. So everybody that I go against, whether it's Cam, everybody on that O-line, I say is a strong person. So, we go on that mentality, iron sharper iron. So we know we're going to get their best work and we're going to give them our best work. So definitely in the trenches, it's a warfare. But at the end of the day, we're just feeding off each other and helping us get each other better.
That transition to guard, you could see him. He's never really played guard, but you could see him making that transition.
Yeah, I mean, when you got a coach like Stout, man, I'm sure you could take you and make you a guard or a tackle or whatever. But I mean, Stout's a great coach, and I'm sure that if he's there, he's running with the ones now. But if he's there, I'm sure that he has the utmost confidence in Makai, and I'm going against him. I'm getting his best work, so I'm just excited to go against them guys every day.
Jordan, speaking of technique, Devin White had mentioned that during film review yesterday, Vic was pointing out how well you were doing because you were bending your knees a lot.
Yeah.
What prevents you sometimes from being consistent in doing that, and why is that so important to you being effective?
Like I said, conditioning. Being more conditioned. The more conditioned I am, the more effective I am, and the more effective I can be, and the more technique I can play with. And not saying that every rep is perfect, but it's better. And that's one thing that I try to do is just when I go inside and I look at film every day, I want to make sure that I'm getting better from the last practice. I'm sure day 2 is better than day 1. I'm hoping that day 3 will be better than day 2. And if we just go on with that mindset, just get better every day. I know it's cliche, but the little things add up, and that's just what I'm trying to work on. If it's something I need to work on, I'm gonna just assess it. I'm gonna watch film. I got Pat back there. He helps me watch film when it's like, when we have a little bit of time afterwards. But that little stuff adds up. Just a little like, what can I do to alleviate my weaknesses and make my weaknesses my strengths?
It sounds simple when we ask about it, but it sounds simple when we ask about it. But what is the degree of difficulty for a 6'6", 350-pound defensive tackle to have good bend?
I mean, you naturally just stand up all day. Walking around 6'6". I mean, I'm the highest in the room, but you don't want to play high. You don't want to play high because you're going to get rooted out, especially with that, not saying he's short, but a short center like Cam, like Kelsey. Those guys are a little bit shorter. Their center of gravity is a little bit lower, and you want to make sure you play on their level because once they get under you, it's over with. And the thing I could do is just make myself better. I sense that, and that's one thing that I've been working on. And I think not trying to make the play all the time. Making sure that I eliminate the man in front of me. I think that's a better mindset that I go into with this year. Is just making sure that I destroy the block, and then when I destroy the block, 9 times out of 10, the ball's either going to appear or it's going to be outside, bounced out. But, when you're looking around, you're trying to make the play, and you get lifted like this, it's over with. But it's just little stuff like that. It's just little mindset tweaks and little changes in your game. And, that's one time that, in the OTAs, that's the time that you work on it. And then now during camp, that's the time that you really put it into effect because you don't go against the offensive line every day in OTAs. But now is the time to really show it, and now's the time to practice what you preach.
Jordan, on a personal level, what has it been like dealing with Vic Fangio? It seems like he's got a little bit of that throwback, old school mentality. Do you enjoy that, and what's it been like personally?
Yeah, I mean, it's all business. That's what I'm used to. Kirby Smart, even my high school coach, I said it before, they're all business. And it's all football. Like, you're not going to go to Vic and, ask him how his day was, how his family is, and stuff like that. He's worried about football. He's worried about winning games. That's what I'm worried about. We're in the business of winning games. And any coach that's down with that is good with me. So, I'm not going to be, I got my family for that to be more personable. And, I got the player development team to be more personal with. But at the end of the day, Vic is going to put us in the best position to win games. And at the end of the day, our job is to make sure that we do the techniques and the stuff and work within the scheme to win those games. And then after that, he could be the happiest guy alive. Like, all we care about is winning. The W is the most important stat on that sheet. And so that's what we're just working towards.
Thanks, Jordan.
Appreciate you.